It's very easy to get attached to one weapon type in Dynasty Warriors Origins, but if you want to keep the gameplay fresh and also reward yourself with some quicker character progression, you're going to want to spread the love across all of the weapons available in the game. To help you get accustomed to each weapon quickly, here's a quick primer on how to use each weapon in Dynasty Warriors Origins. Also, just a quick spoiler warning, if you don't want to know what the final weapon unlock is, here's a warning right now that we're going to talk about it, and we'll give another warning once we get to it. The moveset of the sword is essentially the classic Dynasty Warriors moveset, with a variety of different heavy attacks that come out of light attack combo strings. So, pressing a light attack once and then heavy attack will do a sweep that launches foes. Pressing 2 lights and then a heavy will do a flurry of slashes at the front. 3 lights and heavy attack will do an AoE focused slash around your character. 4 lights and a heavy will launch enemies up for an air combo. And 5 lights and a heavy is your big damage combo. This combo in particular is especially notable because the heavy attack will actually interrupt enemy attacks, allowing you to basically steal back your turn on offense and not have to worry about blocking an elite enemy's counterattack. As you level up your sword, you'll continue to unlock more and more combo strings that just further add more utility to this already very versatile and easy to use weapon. Basically, if you're a fan of how previous Dynasty Warrior games played and want a comfortable and familiar moveset, the sword will likely be your weapon of choice. The spear is a lot like the sword in that it's got a very straightforward moveset with light and heavy combo strings. But the main difference between them is that the heavy attack combo is always the same, regardless of how many light attacks you've done before transitioning into a heavy attack. You can press heavy attack up to 3 times, with the final attack being a very powerful multi-hitting stab attack that hits a wide area in front of your character. The other notable nuance about the spear is that any of your heavy attacks can act as the first hit of the heavy attack combo. So you can approach with a dodge heavy attack and then launch right into the heavy attack combo, or you could do a jumping heavy attack to knock a bunch of enemies into the air and then juggle them with the heavy attack combo, or do a heavy attack while holding guard to do another unique combo starter. Now we're getting into the unique stuff. The gauntlets offer a dramatically different playstyle compared to the sword and spear, as there is no traditional heavy attack combo. Instead, pressing heavy attack will enter you into a stance, with the stance that you enter depending on what you did prior to pressing the heavy attack button. Just pressing heavy attack on its own will put you into the tiger stance. Pressing light attack out of the tiger stance will get you a strong multi-hitting finisher that does decent damage and knocks enemies away. Pressing heavy attack while in tiger stance will fire 3 projectiles, with the third one being the most powerful and blasting enemies away. If you press heavy attack in the middle of a light attack combo, you'll enter the dragon stance, where you can press light attack to do a very fast shoulder charge to knock enemies away, or press heavy attack to stomp the ground and knock enemies up into the air for follow-ups. If you hold block and press heavy attack, you'll enter serpent stance, which is ideal for AoE strikes. Pressing light attack while in serpent stance will launch you upwards along with any enemies you sweep up. And pressing heavy attack will pull surrounding enemies directly in front of you and knock them up as well, ready for follow-ups. And finally, if you dash and press heavy attack, you'll enter Phoenix stance, which is great for when you've got a bunch of enemies far in front of you. You can either launch yourself into the fray by pressing light attack in Phoenix stance to use a jump kick, or you can call a bed of spikes to knock enemies up and follow it up with something like tiger stance light attack. Each time you use an attack out of a stance, you increase the speed at which you get into a new stance, leading to a tricky but very satisfying and free-flowing playstyle that makes understanding every move in your moveset a lot more rewarding than the other weapons in the game. The wheels are also a fairly advanced weapon class with an unconventional playstyle. Once again, there's no heavy attack combo for this weapon. Instead, pressing the heavy attack button will throw the chakrams out, with each different type of heavy attack causing a different type of throw. The key is, if you press heavy attack right when the weapon returns to you, you'll do a powered up version of the next throw that deals much more damage and has far more range. Just pressing heavy attack on its own will send the chakrams spinning around you, with a return time of about 2 seconds. Holding guard and pressing heavy attack will throw them out in a straight line in front of you and leave them suspended in the air, dealing damage to anyone that touches them. They'll fly back to you after about 7 seconds. Using a heavy attack out of a light attack combo will also throw them a short distance in front of you and suspend them in the air for about 7 seconds before they return back to you. Using them out of a dash will throw them a short distance and have them return very quickly. This is timed very specifically to allow you to dash, throw, and then immediately do another dash and throw to catch them and trigger the powered up throw, which will cause the wheels to automatically surround your character and hit enemies for about 5 seconds. And finally, using them out of a jump will send them out to make a figure 8 in front of you before returning in just about 3 seconds. A good way to time the powered up version of this is to jump, throw these out, and then jump again and catch them while you're still in the air. There's a definite learning curve to using the wheels, because if you're not making full use of their powered up attacks that come from perfectly timed catches, they're fairly weak in comparison to the other weapon types. But if you can find those timings, they're able to shred large groups of enemies extremely effectively. The Poda is all about slow but hard-hitting charge attacks. It does have a heavy attack combo, but it only goes to 3 hits, with the wrinkle being that each of those individual hits can be charged up for more damage and range. The third charged hit of this combo can be particularly devastating against a large group of enemies, if you're able to get it off. If you hold block while charging heavy attack, you'll get a weak attack with no charge, a fairly powerful cross slash that will hit enemies directly in front of you at level 1 charge, and if you charge it to level 2, you'll get a very powerful shockwave at a great distance ahead of you. One of the best ways to get into the action is by charging up a heavy attack mid-dash. This will allow you to use a rushing attack where you drag your sword across the ground, ending with a powerful uppercut. Also note that you can cancel the recovery of your jump heavy attack by jumping, allowing you to spam it very quickly and just wreck basic enemies with a powerful AoE attack repeatedly. Gotcha! The staff is another fairly traditional weapon with a pretty simple gimmick. If you hold down the heavy attack button, you'll delay the final big attack and instead be able to use a multi-hitting maneuver that can pull more enemies in, allowing you to potentially get more enemies in range for the big damage final attack when you release the button.
The resistance is futile.
If you hold the heavy attack button while dodging, you'll basically do an attack dodge that you can keep going for as long as you hold the button down. That's pretty much it. It's a simple and intuitive moveset. All you really need to know is that if you use a heavy attack in the middle of a normal attack combo and hold the heavy attack button down, you'll do a sweep and then start running until you let go of the button, triggering the final sweep attack. And if you just hold heavy attack on its own, you'll remain stationary, spinning your staff in place, building up damage the more you spin it, and delivering a powerful overhead attack when you let go of the button. Good for when you stagger an enemy and want to add on a bit more damage before starting the assault attack. The twin pikes are a bit similar to the staff, but instead of holding the heavy attack button down, you want to instead mash it for continuous follow-ups. Just pressing heavy attack outside of a combo will slam the pikes down, and continuously pressing the heavy attack button afterwards will keep you stationary and have you swing the weapons in front of you until you stop mashing or hit a certain number of swipes. Using a heavy attack while in a normal attack combo and continuously mashing will allow you to march forward, swinging the pikes from side to side as you go. Doing a heavy attack out of a dash and continuing to mash will allow you to rush forward, chopping away at any enemy you run through. And doing a heavy attack while holding guard and mashing the button will launch a series of spin attacks. And one extra note, if you time one final heavy attack button press just as the final attack of a barrage lands, you'll actually get extra damage on the final strike. You'll know you did it right when you hear a unique sound and see an extra effect on the attack. The lance is an interesting weapon, as its main gimmick is all about turning your defense into offense by charging up heavy attacks that become stronger the more enemies hit you. Damage taken while charging can be regenerated over time, but it is a weapon that innately comes with a lot of risk and reward. As you've probably guessed by now, the attack you use out of a charge depends on the type of heavy attack you're charging. If you just hold heavy attack and don't press a direction, you'll use a multi-hitting attack that does huge damage to enemies directly in front of you. If you charge a heavy attack out of a dodge, or hold forward while charging, you'll fire a projectile that goes a massive distance forward, demolishing anything it goes through. Hold guard and charge a heavy attack to use a jumping slash that crashes back down to the ground with great force and can take out nearby enemies surrounding you. And if you charge an attack in the middle of a light attack combo, you'll spin your lance around, damaging enemies and ending with a big sweep. It's important to note that once you've fully charged a heavy attack by enduring damage, you'll be unstoppable during the attack animation, unless an enemy hits you with one of their special red or orange glowing attacks. Next we have the Crescent Blade, which is a weapon that's all about a constant stream of attacks, seamlessly going between light and heavy strikes. The way it works is that there's a 3-hit light attack combo and a 4-hit heavy attack combo, and at any point during those two strings, you can switch between the two combos. By doing so, you'll increase the power of your weapon, enhancing its charge attacks and many of its unique arts as well. As an example, a normal charged heavy attack will only do a single slash. But if you've entered your enhanced state by alternating between light and heavy attacks, the same attack will do 2 more powerful slashes. A normal charged heavy attack while holding block will only get you 3 hits, but when enhanced, it will do a whole lot more. And that's kind of it. As you unlock more nodes on the weapon, you'll be able to charge your weapon up to another level and make it easier to charge. But that's generally the main idea of this weapon type. Dance through enemies, transitioning from light to heavy attacks to get charges, then use those charges on charged heavy attacks and arts.
With all my might.
Alright, before we get to the last weapon, once again, spoiler warning, because you don't unlock this weapon until you beat the game. Finally, the last weapon type that you unlock for beating the game is Louis Vu's own weapon of choice, the Halberd. This weapon basically turns you into a boss character yourself, with a heavy attack combo string that can basically wipe out an entire army of regular enemies all by itself. Despite that overwhelming power, the Halberd is actually a fairly simple weapon. It's got a 6-hit light attack combo, a 6-hit heavy attack combo, and at any point in the light attack combo, you can press the heavy attack button and jump right to that same place in the heavy attack combo. So, for example, pressing light, light, heavy will execute the first 2 hits of the light attack combo and the 3rd hit of the heavy attack combo, allowing you to continue the heavy combo from that point. Apart from that, using a heavy attack out of a dodge will let you do Louis Vu's cool diving attack to get into the fray. And you can also charge this attack up to instead throw your Halberd out, causing it to suck up enemies and then pull them towards you. He can also charge his heavy attack out of the guard, which will do some good AoE damage and launch foes into the air. And that's our guide on all 10 weapons in Dynasty Warriors Origins. Thanks for watching, and for everything else, keep it here on IGN.